So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of This Is In. My name is Emily Gorman, and here with me today I have Addison Pollock. Hello.
Emily, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a minute. How are you?
It has been a minute. I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there. I think the last time we connected on This Is In was a couple months ago. Things have been busy
It
around these
was.
parts. So glad to be back with everybody and glad to have our two guests today to talk about, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the Indiana State Walking College, which I'm super excited about. And today's episode kicks off the first in what we hope to be a series of episodes about the Walking College, just to really explain what we're doing, provide some more information for those who might be interested. So Addison, I don't know if you want to share a little bit more about why walkability is so important to us here at AARP and for the state of Indiana.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a great question, Emily, and I know our guests will have a lot more to offer on this subject, this answer. But for us, AARP Indiana, and AARP at large, and the 50 plus at large, we care about livable communities. You know, making our communities places where people can age in place, so age in their home and in their community as long as they choose. That's right in line with AARP's mission. We really believe that your ability to get around your community should not be determined by your ability to drive a car. So we're firm believers in transportation options, and walking is key to transportation options because typically, if you're riding the bus, riding your bike, you'll be walking throughout those processes. So it's really important to us. Obviously, there's huge safety concerns that we care about. Smart Growth America releases its Dangerous by Design report every year, and older adults make up a disproportionate number of fatalities as part of crashes and just serious injuries. And then also as it relates to health, so public health. It's really important just to get out and move, important for longevity. Those are just a few of the reasons that we really care about it, and it's been a pillar of our work for years.
And I think I can speak for both of us as well as the rest of the state office that when we had the opportunity to do the walking college in Indiana, we both jumped at the chance of signing on and getting involved and bringing it to Indiana. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our two guests for today because they're going to share a whole lot more information about what the Walking College is with us. So if we could bring on Ruth and Pete, that would be great. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Great. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
Thank you.
So I wanted to give you each the opportunity to introduce yourselves, who you are, who you work for, and then what your role is within the Walking College. Ruth, do you want to go first?
Sounds good. So my name is Ruth Rosas. I'm a program manager at America Walks, and I work on a variety of campaigns and projects to across the country to make our communities safer to walk in, and also creating safe places. And so the State Walking College is one of them. Before I joined America Walks, I live in Chicago, and I worked at a children's hospital, kind of combining that urbanism space, walkability with public health. And before that, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the Fiji Islands. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I knew that
Super
last
cool.
part. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
All right. And Pete, if you want to do an introduction and introduce yourself, that would be great.
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Pete Fritz. I am the Healthy Communities Planner with the Indiana Department of Health in the Division of Nutrition and Physical Activity. So I'm a planner and a landscape architect by training, and have worked as a planner and landscape architect in the consulting side for many years. But about the last 13 years, I've been working in public health, working with communities around the state of Indiana to promote walking, rolling, bicycling, and the use of transit as a way to create better health outcomes at the community level. So this role of volunteering for the Walking College as a mentor kind of fit right in with what I do at the state health department. So as a mentor, I work with 6 fellows of the 18 fellows in the program this year that are assigned to me. And I meet with them regularly on a one-on-one basis to talk to them about their action plans, how they're doing in developing that plan, and kind of give them some maybe some ideas about what I've done around the state, make connections with others that I've worked with, and just to help them to do what they want to do.
That is awesome. Thanks, Pete.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ruth. That's awesome. I've known Pete for years. He's really well known around the state and just advancing physical activity in communities and making it part of the making active living part of your daily routine. So thank you for being here, both of you.
Sure.
Emily, did you want to take the first question, or you want me to just jump right in?
Feel free. You can jump right in. That'd be
Perfect.
great.
Well, this first one's for Ruth, just kind of establishing a baseline understanding of what the walking college is. Could you just give us a brief overview of what the program is?
Yeah, the walking college, there's 2. There's one that is state level and then one that is national. And so the one that we're doing here at Indiana is the state walking college. And so for the state walking college, it's a 6-month long fellowship program where people from Indiana are applied because they're eager to learn about advocating, organizing, and making their communities more walkable and accessible, vibrant, and safe. And so a lot of the people who join us are early to middle stage professionals who want to expand their knowledge on pedestrian transportation issues, like walkable design or public policy processes. And so during the course of the program, fellows learn to develop these different skills with feedback from mentors like Pete and also their peers. And so they come from all over the state with the goal of addressing something, an issue or something that they want to learn about within their communities. So they develop an action plan. And this tackles, any walkability, accessibility issue that they may think may be happening in their community. The program is fully online, and it did come with a partnership with AARP and America Walks, who, we share a very similar vision of creating healthy, safe, accessible communities for all ages. So it's been really great to be a part of it.
Yes,
That was
it has.
awesome.
Indeed.
Thank you, Ruth. That was great. And then going on from that, my next question is for Pete. I was going to ask you, what it was that got you interested and what made you want to be involved in the walking college. And then kind of 2-part, why is it important for us to have the walking college in the state of Indiana specifically?
Sure. So I had heard about the walking college at a conference. Actually, I went to a national conference, and the national program manager, Ian, had a presentation there, and I heard him talk about some other states that were kind of the early adopters of this program. And I thought it's a really neat program, and if it ever came to Indiana, I would love to be involved in it. And I talked to him briefly about that idea. This would have been right before the pandemic. And lo and behold, it came to Indiana through the gracious help of AARP to make that happen. And I had heard about that and was approached to be a mentor, and I really jumped at the chance. It's rarely do I get a chance to work one-on-one with people. Much of my work is at the community level, working in workshops with groups of people, which I'd really love to do. But the chance to work closely with individuals who are embedded in their community, trying to create change around policies and the built environment to make it easier to walk is really a great opportunity for me, and to kind of expand my contacts in these communities across the state, and really feel like I'm working with someone to maybe give them the capacity to make these changes on their own within their community. So it's a really great opportunity.
It certainly is. Yeah, we're very excited about it. We have, I was just looking up on a different screen, we have nearly 20 fellows, is that right? In this class, this cohort. So this question is for Ruth and Pete, for both of you. What excites you about this class of fellows? I was just scanning the names, and there's some pretty impressive fellows in there. Some that are more knowledgeable about pedestrian issues and walkability than others, because they might have, their career might touch this subject in certain ways. But then we have just regular citizens on the other hand. So anything that excites you about this class?
Yeah, so we have 18 fellows, and I think it is really what I like about this is that there's people from all over. We have people from, Indianapolis, which is like a very urban area, but then we also have people from much smaller rural areas. And I think sometimes, like, especially like in the Midwest, we can overlook certain parts of the Midwest because it is like extensive land. And sometimes people don't think about these little small towns. I grew up in a small town in Illinois, and sometimes I thought about how like we would run across the street and things like that, and sometimes the lack of infrastructure or the fact that it was like pretty walkable overall. But it's cool to see the fellows here that have like really unique experiences and coming from all over, and they're really fierce advocates. I think that's like what's really exciting about the state walking colleges in general, is that you get people who are really interested in bettering their communities. And I think in Indiana, it really shows people who are not only like invested in their communities, some people are brand new, but still want to, get involved and figure out what pedestrian issues are happening in their communities or why it's unsafe to walk in certain places that they've noticed. And so it's been really important to kind of, bring their voices into this and see them develop their skills and also gain some like confidence, right, when talking about some of these issues. So it's really exciting, and I'm really excited to see what they do.
Yeah, and I would add to that too. I am really impressed by the passion of these fellows and really wanting to make change in their communities where they live, and really trying to be and work hard to understand a process to make that happen. I'm also impressed by the diversity of this group, and I think this group really does represent the diversity of the population of Indiana. I think it's great. We have a lot of people that come from different backgrounds and have different life experiences that are bringing that into their action plans. And I really appreciate the attitude of these fellows, of their willingness to make change in their community, because this is not easy work. It's challenging, and they are all up to the challenge, and they're really going after it and are approaching it with a lot of vigor and gusto. And it's really fun to be around people that want to make a change in their community.
That's awesome. I think what Addison and I both had an inside scoop on the planning process for the Walking College, and seeing the level of applications that came in, and also the diversity, like you mentioned, Pete, and people represent the entire state from the top to the bottom and everywhere in between. And I love that aspect specifically of the Walking College. It was super cool to see. Just the number of applications we had too was awesome. My next question is for probably Ruth specifically. While Addison and I are both lucky enough to be in the program, so we know this firsthand, I wondered if you would be able to share a little bit more about some of the modules that the fellows are learning about specifically, like what topics are covered, and what that kind of looks like if you are participating in the program.
Yeah, so each module, well, I guess I should start because the program is into 6 months. We split up very similarly. Every month you do a module. And so each module takes about 3 weeks to complete. And then there is a break between module 3 and 4. So you do have a break, but in general, you're doing work every week, doing reading assignments, writing assignments, you're having discussions with your mentor, you're having discussions with your fellows to get that peer perspective and hear what they're doing or what they're working on. And then also you have the one-on-one mentoring coaching session. And so I guess like the the program is split up in this way that at first we cover the basis, so that maybe even if you don't really know too much about walkability or accessibility, you can get the foundation knowledge and, the language that maybe urban planners use, or some of the words that you hear in city council meetings to talk about these things. So a lot of it is kind of painting the picture of urbanism and walkability to understand those things, and also things in advocacy, like organizing or being involved in your community. So modules 1 and 3 are more about how we got here, developing leadership, organizing for change to get that started. And then the second half of the program is more about the technical aspects. So it's like the nitty-gritty of like how you might approach certain problems. So we have like designing for people, shifting public policy, planning a strategy. So it is much more like, you're thinking about what you can do to resolve a specific issue. And so it's really great to go through this kind of like foundational, so you can get your head wrapped around some things, and maybe you already know some of these things, and maybe you learn something new, right? We also provide people with state resources in case there's things happening in their own communities or their own states. But yeah, so that's kind of how the program is broken down, that we have a bit of the foundational and then more the technical aspect.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah. And as we mentioned, at the end of this this whole class, there is to be the deliverable is a walking action plan. So each fellow walks away, if you will, with an action plan. So this question's for Pete, and I know you probably don't want to be too leading as a mentor, but are there any issues that you would like for your fellows in your cohort to address in their walking action plans, or any that are being discussed that you think are really interesting and worth highlighting?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. Some of the patterns that I'm seeing with the fellows I'm working with is their willingness to reach out and kind of network with others. Because in this work, we really can't do it alone. No one can do everything that needs to be done by themselves. You really have to partner with others. You have to work in collaboration with other groups and other people. And what I'm really seeing is a pattern is these fellows really thinking, well, who are those people I can contact, I can reach out to, and that I can work with to really make my neighborhood or my community more walkable, more safe for moving around, and a place really where people can enjoy being outside and walking. And that's one thing I'm really seeing. I'm also seeing a really interesting discovery by a lot of the fellows about how history has brought us to where we are now. The issues of walkability in our communities are not isolated, and they don't just happen by themselves. They're based on incremental decisions that have been made through our communities and policies, things that have been done and things that haven't been done to either make a community more walkable or less so. And to see them discovering that, I think is really interesting, and talking about it. And I've always told them I learn as much or more from talking to them than I'm sure they're ever learning from me. So it's a really great experience, and I'm really I appreciate that.
That's amazing. Thank you, Pete. I think the last question I'd like to end with, just for anyone who's interested in what we've been doing in the Walking College and the expected outcomes from this, I wondered if Ruth might be able to share maybe a couple of examples of successful action plans from other states and other walking colleges that maybe might give us an idea of what we could look forward to potentially in Indiana.
Yeah, I think that there have been so many things that Walking College Fellows have done. It's hard to pick some successful ones, but I think it's the people who join us in the Walking College. Some of them are planners, some are in public health, other are environmentalists or disability advocates or educators. So within their own work, they often do something that is related to walkability. And some of these projects have been like applying for large funding to get maybe like a pathway or a walkway completed in their community that maybe was installed a long time ago but needed maintenance or hasn't been connected to a larger network. Some have gone on to do more policy work, so getting their communities to adopt complete streets, or working on like strategic plans with their communities to or with their local departments of transportation to include more walkability, which is really exciting because policy can be very confusing and difficult. And so it's been really great to see some of those alumni being able to accomplish some of those things. We also have people who, do things like walking school bus programs. So that's like a way to like promote physical activity within like children or school age children. Others have done more like walk audits because maybe they're trying to learn more about their communities. So there's been like a variety of things that alumni have done. They've also some have done run and won elected offices, which is really great to have people in office that had all this background in walkability. So I think that it's hard to pinpoint really successful projects because I think there's been so much work that Walking College Fellows and alumni have done, and we have created like stories from them in our website. So if you go to americawalks.org, if you go to Walking College, you'll see a lot of these success stories that Walking College Fellows have embarked on. So feel free to check that out.
Awesome. So that's americawalks.org, right?
Yeah.
Folks can check out. Awesome. Well, that's super cool. I love the fact that the walking action plans have these intentional goals and intentional outcomes associated with them. We may have buried the lead, but I'm serving as a fellow right now, and I'm really pumped about getting my plan together. Although it's a lot of work, but I'm very excited to do it because it's definitely worthwhile. Before we close out, is there anything, Pete, Ruth, that you want to, for the good of the order, you want to share with our audience today?
I might just want to say I'm really excited to see what's going to come out of this. My hope is that I want to keep in touch with these 18 fellows and create a community of practice around promoting walkability around the state of Indiana. And I think this is a great start. My hope is that maybe we can do this again and kind of keep this walking college going and really create a whole cohort of people that are embedded throughout the state that are doing this work. And I'm very excited about that.
Definitely. That would be the dream outcome.
For sure.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining us today. Thank you to our audience, our present and future audiences who will be watching the archive version of this on our Facebook page. If you want to learn more about the Walking College, you can go to americawalks.org. You can also we have a blog post at aarp.org/in, and we will continue to contribute to that blog post over time. As Emily mentioned at the top of the program, this is the first in a series of videos that we're going to be doing, not just with mentors, but also we're going to get some fellows in the mix to talk about their experience and their experiences and some of the ideas that they have for their action plans. So we will be back next month. We will be back in July talking with some fellows. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you then. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Great.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Emily. Thanks, Addison.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.